Hello, welcome to Real Frank Movie Reviews. In this episode, we're going to review the movie Air, starring Matt Damon, Viola Davis, and Ben Affleck, and also directed by Ben Affleck. I wonder what happens. I wonder if Nike is able to sign a young Michael Jordan, or does he spurn them and go to Converse and Reebok? Or does he go to Skechers? I bet you he goes to Skechers. Air Skechers. I'm a genius.
Real Frank.
All right, welcome back to the show. LINO, how you doing, LINO?
I'm doing fantastically. How about you, Frank?
Amazing. Amazing. Amazing, just like the Jordan shoes. Amazing.
I never bought a new pair of shoes. I think the last new pair of shoes I bought, other than a few weeks ago, was like high school. And I was searching for like $1,000 Jordan shoes last night. So, yeah.
$1,000. Isn't that insane?
It's unbelievable. And I always looked down on people that collected shoes, but I kind of understood it after the movie last night. So
wait, the last pair of shoes you bought was in high school? Was the brand new shoes?
Well, I mean shoes, period. I've never bought a pair of Jordan shoes.
Okay, all right. You never owned Jordans, huh?
So I don't buy shoes like for myself ever, really. But, I was kind of inspired by this movie, and I'm like, I kind of want a pair of Jordans now. I'm bad at basketball, but I want a pair of Jordans.
I was big into Jordans, and currently right now I'm just sick. I'm a sick man. I have a pair I wear daily, and then I'm a big fan of the Jordan 4s and the 3s. So right now I have 1, 2, 3, maybe 5 pairs in my closet, brand new, stored away.
See, I never understood that, but now I do. Like, I absolutely do now. So, yeah. I mean, I was on Instagram, and Andrea Pirlo, the old Italian soccer player, if you remember him.
Uh-huh.
So he was doing humanitarian work in Turkey, and in the dirtiness and all that, was carrying boxes. And the people in the comments were like, "Oh my God, look at his shoes." He was wearing like the Travis Scott version of the Jordan shoes that were like over $1,000, and I'm just like,
he didn't care.
What the hell? Like, what's the deal with these, man? But I get it. They're really nice shoes.
Yeah. The way I got my first Jordan shoes is a very interesting story. I had a pair we just got a brand new pair of cross trainers. I really wanted the Jordans, right? I really wanted them. And they were just too much money, right? So then we had Thanksgiving, and is at our uncle's house. It was in the basement. And my cousin saw my shoes. They're like, "Oh, those are nice shoes, Frank." And I was like, "Yeah, but I really wanted the Jordans." And they're like, "You wanted the Jordans?" I was like, "Yeah, I really wanted the Jordans." And he goes, "Well, let me see your shoe." He took my shoe, popped the air pocket on it. He goes, "Tomorrow I'll pick you up. We'll go get you some Jordans."
Oh, jeez.
So he picked.
Well, I guess that was a lesson.
Both my cousins, Nito and Frank, picked me up. Yeah, your uncle picked me up, and we went to the Foot Locker at the mall. And I had the shoes in a box, and they still looked brand new because I just gotten them. And they go to the counter, and they like, "What's these shoes got a hole in the air pocket? I mean, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do about it? What's gonna happen here?" He goes, I go, "Well, you should get him another pair of shoes. I think he needs another pair of shoes." So I went and I picked out the Jordans, and then the kid's like, "No, I can't give you that. There's a price difference." He's like, "What are you gonna do?" So they started busting his balls, right? It's a teenage kid. He doesn't give a shit, right? It's not his store. So he's like, "Fine, take them." And then I got the Jordans, and then I was the shit at school when I came in. They were like, "Damn, he's got the Jordans." And I was like, "Yeah."
Just dunking on people in the hallway.
Yeah, right. I was still a piece of shit, but hey,
Oh man, that's a classic Nino and Frank story, I will say.
Exactly. It's one of my greatest memories, and that's how I got my Jordans.
Yeah. One day I will get a pair at some point.
Yeah. I don't really care for the Jordan styles now. I'm on the old school guy. I like the that's what sucks. They market this thing so brilliantly, right? Because they re-release all the old ones, and everybody wants the old ones, and it's brilliant, really.
Well, I I think it is. I think those are the old ones that I was kind of looking at that looked a lot like the shoe that they showed in the movie, and I'm just like, holy shit, that's an awesome shoe, you know? Like, I mean, I thought they did a really good job of that, obviously, because you know, not even a shoe guy, you know, I wanted a pair. So
you wanted a pair?
Yeah, among other things, I thought this movie did very well.
It did, but the music. What did you think of the music? I thought the music was great for the time period.
I thought the music was great. It really kind of put you back in like the 80s. Although I'm a 94 guy, like I thought what it did, it was like a montage at the beginning, like they did at the beginning of Miracle, where they just showed like certain events of that time period, and they sort of started off the movie that way. And I thought that was a really good idea, and it was very catchy.
Yeah, right. Kind of gets you in the feeling of what the time frame is and what's going on, and those type of things to kind of pull you into the piece. What did you think? Did you, at any point, were you sold on these people? Like, did you truly believe they were who they were playing?
You know, that's kind of tough. I really like Jason Bateman's character. Like, he was probably... I thought I would probably like Matt Damon more, and I feel like Damon just has played so many characters over the years that you only believe him as a certain number. He did sort of like play an out of shape piece of shit who really loves basketball really well.
Right.
So I thought he played that very well, but he wasn't my favorite character. I really like Jason Bateman. And Ben Affleck, I thought, you know, he did an okay job. He sort of just played this hip CEO who's kind of nuts. But I thought, you know, I believed who Bateman was as far as that goes. I didn't think the other actors did a bad job.
Right.
I just kind of believed Bateman more.
It seemed like, to me personally, it felt like Matt Damon was playing Matt Damon. Like, he was just playing himself, just fat. He was not only was he fat, he was chubby. Put a little weight on for the role, and then he was basically playing himself. That's what it felt like.
Exactly. Like, he's gonna go get a Dunkin' Donuts, like coffee, and like, you know, go be Jason Bourne real quick,
exactly,
or something like that. Okay, all right, Damon, we got it. You're in a lot of movies.
Exactly right. So I wasn't relatable. I think the reason we like Jason Bateman's character because we didn't know too much about that person in real life. Like, we know so much about Sonny and Phil that we've seen him on TV over the years, and they just did that documentary on Sonny a couple years ago, that 30 for 30. So I think that's part of it. We have some knowledge of how he really is in real life, where the character Jason played, we didn't know anything about. He wasn't really a mainstream person. Maybe that's possibly why. And he had some funny lines too.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think it's just like a marketing rep, like, who's just working all the time and like is just kind of a dick. Like, I think he just pulled that off really well.
He did. I love the line about him taking a shit. Like, he stops everything to go take a dump.
Yeah. He had like several one-liners that were just hilarious. Like, Carly came with me and she was dying at half the stuff that Bateman was saying. Like, I thought he did a really good job.
Yeah. So this is loosely based on the real story, obviously. Now, what parts do you think were fake? Like, what part do you think was not really or embellished dramatically for the movie?
I think, you know, I watched. I didn't get to see the 30 for 30 documentary, but I did sort of get the gist of it in the Last Dance documentary, about how Nike's pitch to him. And I know Deloris, his mom, was instrumental in it. I think Matt Damon sitting in the back of Deloris and his dad's backyard, just telling them exactly what those other executives are going to tell them, and them doing exactly what he said they were going to say. Like, I thought that was probably embellished a little bit, but you know, I thought it was an interesting dynamic because, you know, Deloris was, you know, pretty instrumental, and she's like, hey, Michael, why don't you just take a meeting with Nike, you know, and then let them make their pitch. And I really want to know if that meeting was actually kind of a shit show the way it was, because that seemed like a disaster, but still they sealed the deal.
So I read the book Shoe Dog about Phil Knight. It's like his autobiography, and the other Michael Jordan book, and then I did some research. So you're on the right track here. From what I understood in the research that I did, that he never made that trip to speak to Deloris, Sonny. That never happened. It all went through the agent. So that was Hollywood horse.
Oh, the David Falk.
Yeah.
God.
That was all Hollywood horse shit, that part.
I will say the Hollywood horse shit was good because the conversation with David Falk after he learned that Sonny made the trip in person was probably one of the funniest parts of the movie because seeing him lose his shit and say several things over the phone gave me a good chuckle. That was a very good ad.
Yeah, because he was saying some crazy stuff that was pretty funny. Now the other part, which you were talking about when they came to see Nike, and then from what I heard or read in the past is the banner and all that stuff was legit, and Phil coming in late and Sonny meeting her at the limo was all legit. They actually watched the entire video, the video that they played. They did have trouble starting the video. There was trouble with the VHS tape, and the song that was playing was the Pointer Sisters' Jump. And after that, they did this. They talked some more, but that Sonny speech was embellished big time. Like that, there's some discrepancy if that really happened, but I don't think it was to the degree. Maybe there was some talking about that, but not to the degree that they presented in the Hollywood magic way.
You know, that is probably another thing because although I did overall love this movie, I thought that was probably one of the cheesier lines of all time when Sonny's going like, people are going to tear you down.
Yes.
It's like, okay, all right, we get it. Like, okay, like this probably didn't happen. But this is a very good touch here. I like it.
It's a Hollywood written script speech because in reality, when that's going on in real life and you're trying to get someone to sign a contract, you're not talking about that shit. You're building up their ego, right? You're building, you're going to be the greatest. We want you to wear our shoes. Oh my God, we're going to be partners. You can have a sand design. They're not going to talk about people are going to tear you down. People are going to make fun of you. People are going to say you suck. That speech was
They're going to call you a gambler.
Exactly.
It's like, well, I do like to gamble, all right.
People that accuse you of gambling, betting on games. No. I did enjoy the creativity here of Ben not ever showing Michael Jordan. I loved that.
So I did too. I thought it was kind of a weird touch at first, but then I'm like, it would have been way too distracting to get some dude in there that did not look like Michael Jordan. And I think they showed almost a side face picture of him at some point.
Yeah.
And it was probably like a CGI side face of actual Michael Jordan, which I thought was unbelievable. Like, I was like, he was just like a little kid here, and there's really no way you could have like recreated him, in a way that people wouldn't have scrutinized or distracted from the film.
Exactly, because everyone knows what he looks like. He's one of the most famous people in the world, and then you would have been distracted by that actor doesn't look like Michael Jordan. You'd be like, it doesn't look nothing like him. So I appreciate that. I really appreciated that. The other characters kind of look like his father and his mother look kind of like his father and mother. Plus, they're not as famous, so it was more believable.
Right, and I think because I watched the Last Dance documentary fairly recently, that I thought that James Jordan, his dad, looked exactly like him. I'm like, yeah, that's what he kind of looked like. He's just fumbling around working on a car, and I'm like, wow, yeah, that was a good job. And Viola Davis did a really good job as Deloris. Honestly, I thought she did a great job.
She's a great actor, though, and anything she's been on, she's always fantastic acting, And that was Michael Jordan's one thing that you probably read that where she had to play his mom. That was one of his contingencies of doing the movie, like giving his approval. She had to play his mom.
Really?
Yeah. And Ben was like, I'll do my best, but I can't. That's not how it kind of works, But she obviously did the movie. But that was one of his contingency on giving his green light, his approval for the film.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. That is quite something. I wonder if they're on like a first name basis. They smoke cigars with each other or something like that.
Or he just really thinks she's a great actress and thought she should play his mom because she did a great job.
Yeah.
And also one of his contingencies for doing the movie was that the guy who made the shoe, like came up with the idea with the shoe and stuff, and the marketing for the shoe, the logo, he had to be in the movie too. Like his character had to be in the movie. It was another stipulation for him to greenlight it.
So the shoemaker in the basement.
Yeah, he was such an integral part of the shoe. He really wanted his character in the movie, like represented in a specific way, like the way that he helped truly make the brand.
Okay, yeah. I kind of want to know who actually came up with. So if it is more the guy in the basement that came up with the Air Jordan name, and not Falk, the agent or whoever.
There's some discrepancies too. What I've read too is David Falk actually came up with Air Jordan, and so I don't know if that was presented right in the movie. It could have been where David says it in a conversation, and then they just had parallel thinking and came up with the idea too, or if Sonny presented it to that guy. It's never really. It's presented in the movie like David says it, and then the guy says it, and then Sonny says, "Oh, David said that too," So maybe, I don't know. That one I wasn't very clear. It was very blurred.
Yeah. Well, they all made millions of dollars, more than any flipping basketball player or athlete with a shoe deal in a single year than all time. So yeah, they can piss and moan about who came up with Air Jordan.
So what would you say in this movie was your favorite part? Did you have a favorite part?
Honestly, I was thinking that when they closed the deal that it probably would have been my favorite part. However, I think because Damon, when he made the drive out to the Jordans and then got a call from David Falk, I think that was probably my favorite part, because it was just so exciting, because it was such a dumb idea in the moment, but then it pays off, and especially when he's impersonating the Adidas executives with Deloris, probably one of my favorite parts of all time. And I just thought that was a very nice touch, and it just worked within the movie, even though half of it was probably fabricated.
Right. I mean, you understand they got to do that. I mean, it's hard to do everything exactly, because we don't know the conversations that no one really remembers the conversation over time and stuff like that. But I don't know. So are you going to buy Jordans now? Is your daughter going to have a pair of baby Jordans?
I literally bought myself a pair of Nike sneakers a month ago that are not Jordans, but they're white. But I just tell myself that they're Jordans because they're cool Nike shoes. But if I paid $150 for sneakers that I'd be afraid to wear, my wife would probably divorce me. So I'm just going to keep the Nikes that I have now and just tell myself that they're super good sneakers, and they were made by Peter Moore probably, so that'll give myself a leg up.
That guy actually died. Remember you see the credits at the end? That was one of the guys that died while they were making that movie.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was pretty sad, obviously, because I'm sure it would have been nice for him to see it.
The one thing I did really love about this movie was you knew there wasn't any post-ending credit scenes.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of that did kind of suck. I thought I did want more from this movie. I think it wasn't as long as, I mean, it's 112 minutes, but I don't know. I kind of wanted more, a little bit of background on Sonny. Mm-hmm. I wanted a little bit more background on, maybe the aftermath, but it was, I don't know. I really liked the movie, but I just felt like it was almost too short for some reason.
Here's my thing with the movie. To me, listen, the acting was fine, but I just never believed Matt Damon as Sonny, and I think the character of Sonny was all bullshit, because when you know about Sonny, he did more of the tournaments and working with the coaches of college, trying to get to wear the shoe. So if he had any background, it just seemed like, to me personally, I didn't get his character. Like, he was so much more involved in the movie of helping Nike and running things at Nike, when in reality he didn't have too much to do. He was more in the basketball circuit creating these tournaments for these kids. So I didn't care for the way they did the Sonny character. And then Matt Damon putting on a few pounds, I just thought it was I don't know. I had high expectations for this movie, all right? Because being a Jordan shoe fan, I'm like, oh, and having some background in it and reading the books, like, oh, and then Ben Affleck, good director, and the cast, and like, oh, and then I see it, I'm like, eh.
Yeah, I thought it was meh, but it was good, and like I didn't even like read the books on like a lot of background on Sonny. I know it looks like he left Nike for like Adidas and
he got fired
and other companies.
He was fired.
He was fired. Okay, yeah. So yeah, not great. They really painted him at the end at the credits to like, well, he was integral in O'Bannon versus NCAA.
Yes.
It's like, oh, congratulations. That's not like the best like happily ever after you'd want after you sold Jordan's shoe. Like, that's it? What are you working in a gas station now? Is that, come on.
Yeah. I don't know.
But I liked it. I liked the movie. I didn't like overly love it, but I thought, you know, they did a decent job. Like with storytelling at least.
Yes, and the sets. I'd like the design of the sets to stick with the period piece, with all that ugly color and shit, the brown and the yellows and all that craziness. So let's go ahead and score this 1 to 10. 10 being the best movie you ever seen, 1 being the worst. We do the point system. What do you give this?
I would give this a 6.5 out of 10.
6.5 out of 10. Well, I think that's a pretty fair score. Very fair score. If you could change something, you would have made the movie longer. Is that basically all you would have changed? More details?
Yes, and I probably would have developed Sonny's character a little bit more. At the beginning, they're like, okay, he's this basketball guru. He can gamble on basketball better than anyone of all time. Like, me placing those bets that he placed at the window through my DraftKings app would result in me filing for bankruptcy by the end of the week. So I'm like, wow, like he's kind of like a guru. Can we know a little bit more about him? Oh, like he literally gets the under and cashes the over on every other athlete he bets on. Like, let's have a little bit more info, huh? But they just I think they kind of speed through that, which, you know, I kind of get, but I did like it.
That's a great point about the gambling, because the beginning of the movie starts with him gambling, and they never really revisit the gambling ever again. It was very strange.
They're like, oh, you happen to go to Vegas every now and then. It's like, is this a problem with him? Like, what's happening?
Exactly. They start the movie with him betting, and then it's never discussed again until Phil Knight presents one line in the movie. So was that whole scene presented for a one-liner later in the movie? They never revisit it. It's very strange.
Yeah, and I almost forgot about it. Yeah, and I will have to say, what a great return appearance for Chris Tucker. I miss that guy so much in movies. Like, I thought he played like kind of like Howard White. I didn't know much about Howard White, but it was nice to see him in a movie again.
Like, I mean, you're right, man, because he was on top of the game. Then he like disappeared, and the way he shoots out his lines in the movies at the end, he's just so natural, and then he fell off the face of the earth. But you're right, it was kind of cool to see him there. He's like, right, what's going on with him?
Yeah, I know. I miss him so much, and literally, like, he was saying that like the funniest shit throughout the movie. I'm like, what, did you just get tired for a while, or like, did you find something else to do? Like, come on, you got to be in more movies, man.
Got too much rush hour money. He just said, hey, fuck it.
Yeah, it's just riding the sunset with Jackie Chan. I haven't seen Jackie Chan in a while. I wonder what happened.
He's probably got arthritis and can't move around with all those stunts for all those years. He's probably in a wheelchair.
That's probably true. That's very true.
For me, overall, I give this movie a 4.6.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's just an average movie for me. I mean, I remember when the trailers came out, I was so excited about this movie, and I don't know. I felt like I was watching Matt Damon play Matt Damon. Nothing special. Didn't feel like any character. I liked the way Ben looked as Phil Knight. I thought he looked as close as he possibly could to Phil. But I just one of those. I'll watch this movie again. Like if I'm cleaning the house, I'll have it on in the background because it's like a safe movie for kids. You get kids in the house and you want to watch them.
Except for the David Falk part.
That's how Dad talks, so they don't care.
Oh no.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it was just a average movie. Would I seek it out? No, but would I watch it if it's on TV? Sure. It's like one of those TV-friendly TBS, TNT movies that are played constantly throughout every weekend when you turn on the TV type of movie. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just a hum movie.
Yeah, I think that is a good assessment. It's fair. I mean, I know this is like an Amazon movie. So if I didn't have an Amazon subscription, I probably wouldn't go and get a subscription just to go watch this movie.
Yeah.
But like if it's on TV or it's with whatever I have, then I'll watch it again. I think it's just an easy watch, I would say.
Yeah. And then I think the moral of the story here and the lesson to be taken is your daughter needs a pair of Jordans.
My cousin Anna probably has about 8 of these, and I swear if she becomes like Anna and makes me spend $600 for Jordans every single year, then I am shipping her off to boarding school probably. So I hope not. Definitely hope not.
I hope so. I'm rooting for it.
Oh no. Jeez Louise.
Daddy, can I have a pair of Jordans? I really want a pair of Jordans.
I'm like, well, we have to eat next week, so I can't get you a pair of Air Jordans. I'm sorry. Like, that's unreasonable. But then Dad will go behind everyone's back and buy himself like a Travis Scott version of Air Jordans for $1,000, and then take out a loan on my car or
That's
something.
Right. Now that's what grandparents are for. Your Nona and Nona will hook you up, right?
Okay. Yeah, we'll see about that. That's for sure.
All right, so Lino gives it a 6.5. I give it a 4.6. That's our review for Air. Until next time, thanks for watching.